really cool for me. There's two things I don't do. I don't ask for money here, and I've never asked for money on my art. I have so many people going, hey, why don't you start selling your art? Just coming out of the closet and being willing to share some of my art with people has been really difficult. Talk about internal pressure. But for me to infuse money and business into this or into my art, it would confuse the situation for me. My motivation might get altered. Doesn't mean that I'm not interested in one day selling my art. I will be, but I don't want to do it. I would much rather Mike Mack comes in here and go, bro, I will be your art guy. I know what I'm doing. I met a lady in Washington, actually. Talk about a wild story. That's the other part of the story I didn't tell anybody. I bailed out of the whole Washington scene. Now, talk about authentic. I go there with the best freaking tickets in the world. Like I had these beasts. I got about for you guys that haven't seen these things, I have about 3 or 4 of these. This is just for the rally. I got 2 of these, man. These are worth like, I don't know, 30 grand. They gave them to me. And then I had 2 other to the Liberty Ball that were gold, and then another one to the Bitcoin thing, and then another one to some event. Then I had one that was top secret, and then nobody could even end up using these. These were like, when then they changed the whole situation. Anyway, instead of going like half of these, lady says, hey, you want to go to an art gallery? I'm like, you know what? I like this lady. I want to go to the art gallery. We end up at an art gallery that we couldn't get to. She takes me to a different one, and I spend 2 hours in this art gallery just going into overdose land, only to run into a room, and I'm like, Deb, I have this art in my house. I'm looking at $140 million piece of art.
It's crazy.
Okay. And I immediately said, hey, look, there's an error in that art. I mean, I must have a good eye. She's like, dude, you're noticing things that I don't even see. I studied art. And I'm looking at this art, and I'm like, dude, I've seen this piece of art before. And I'm like, there's no way I own this piece. Anyway, I own 2 of this guy's pieces of art. I came home, and I'm like, sure enough, dude, I own 2 of these pieces. Anyway, I really enjoyed that experience, and that's part of my journey, right? See, part of Gary is, hey, actually, I didn't use most of these. Now, my internal pressure was, dude, you flew on a private jet to go to Washington, D.C. You must do all of these. You must make sure that every ticket is used. I was literally trying to give them away. Because quite frankly, I'm going to remember that art experience more than anything I learned at hanging out with Chamath, waiting to get a seat in the stadium or whatever. Whatever, dude. We're all just regular people, dude. We're just like you. This is what I'm trying to say to you. Don't allocate your energy, outsource your energy, or expect anyone else is going to be responsible, authentic, or transparent. The problem with this world is that none of us have done enough. We have trusted that other people would do it. And other people are susceptible to their own egos, their own social pressure, and their own upbringing. And very few people have the mettle, man, to be different. The mettle to be different. The mettle to be, and I think we're all different. Every one of us authentic, unique, and we're all going to get better if we choose to get better in communicating a message of peace, prosperity, freedom. See, freedom for me, somebody asked me once, hey, what is wealth? Real wealth, I don't care if it's $1 or 10 trillion. Real wealth is the ability to say yes to anything.
Yeah.
Yes to absolute anything, and to say, fuck you. No, I ain't participating. You ain't gonna trap my ass, kind of no. These are really, really important things. Until you are in a capacity to say, no, I am not committing a crime for a $30 an hour salary or a $300 an hour salary or a $30,000 an hour. Dude, you ain't buying my ass for any amount of money. I shall not be a prostitute. I will not be a whore. And you guys get on me about using these terms. I know very few people who have not prostituted themselves. In fact, I don't know anyone, if you were really honest with yourself, dude, nobody on this stage, nobody in the audience can say, I have never prostituted myself. Think about that. See, the moment I say to you, look, I slept with a chick once in 2001, I probably made $1 million that I wouldn't have made. And I kind of knew it. I kind of knew it. Now, would I have slept with her if she wouldn't have been the head of HR? Maybe. But my motives weren't really that perfectly clean. It most certainly wasn't going to damage my bonus. So there'll be some people on here who go, whoa, that guy slept with a woman and considered money? Yeah, dude, I'm going to admit it, okay? And if you can be so pure as to say that you've been completely responsible and never whored yourself out, never said yes when you wanted to say no, or said no when you really wanted to say yes, or didn't take that career job. In fact, this is the right age. A lot of people that have made massive career, low-risk decisions, and they're still suffering from that decision. Seriously, okay? And there will be people in this audience. I recognized some time ago that when people really don't like me, first off, if you spend enough time with me, you will come to know that you may not like me, but you will come to know that I am a legit human being. Like I made a decision when I was really young. I'm not going to hoodwink people because I have a great capacity to do so. Like I am a good talker. And with that, by the way, comes responsibility. I have to be careful of what I say, man. You go open one of these rooms up. When 5,000 people start showing up, you're like, okay, look, wait now. I don't want to be, I don't want somebody to wake up 50 years later and go, oh, wow, did you know that MLK, had all these things in his background? Dude, I would have listened to the guy anyway. Okay? I didn't expect him to be perfect. I am not perfect. Okay? But I have a responsibility once people start listening to make sure that what I'm saying is accurate. That does not mean that I have to be overly careful. I came in here and said, hey, I made a mistake. I wasn't here last week. And I blew it, right? I was irresponsible. It doesn't mean that I have an obligation to anyone to share every detail of my life. I don't think anybody really even cares to see every detail of my life. What I think is important, though, is that we have a bunch of honorable, awesome, transparent, authentic human beings. Where you're strong, I will be weak. Where I am weak, you'll be strong. And we will do much better for the world if we're less worried about who is the messenger and who gets credit for the message than, hey, wow, everybody got the message. Everybody. And that's including outside the United States. I'm encouraging people right now, dude, I would do anything I possibly could. If I'm living outside the United States, I'd get over here, dude. I'd do anything legally to get over here. I would bend over backwards to get over here. I mean, I would beg, borrow, and maybe even steal to get here. Hey, there are times when I will do things for the long-term good of my family. I mean, I have a Mexican lady that works for me. She came here illegally 20 years ago. Her son just finished high school, private, illegal Mexican alien, came here, got legal, has worked for me since they were 17, has been an awesome human being. I have left a stupid amount of U.S. dollars hanging around here, gold and silver. She could have made a ton of money. I've never seen a penny missing. May or may not be the best cleaner in the whole world, but I'm so loyal to people that are in my family. This kid has gone to private school, getting ready to go to college. I'm trying to talk him out of going to college and trying to stick him into politics because at 18, and anybody that's sitting here going, well, I can't be like Gary because I can't buy, a bunch of crypto and I don't know how to build businesses. Dude, go to work in your local area in any type of politics, okay? Literally, we need to get all these people that are in the middle, we need to get them out. Okay? They are the problem. So don't tell me you can't get a job, a role. This is the most seminal moment in history. If you're an American citizen, there is not going to be a shortage of jobs or opportunities. There will be a shortage of jobs, opportunities, and moments that you can work for great people who are building great things and who can set you up and create an example by which you can do business for 50, 60, 70, 80 years and have fun. I have fun most of the time. And the more I'm committed, the more fun I have. So I'm going to try to end with that. I think just one other thing. I want to just say that the red flags that I look for when I'm watching people who I admire and I'm looking to mentor or learn from, massive insecurity. When you see insecurity, and you'll see it pop out in certain odd ways, when you see lies or falsities, okay, inconsistencies, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for random inconsistencies. Non-authentic people don't have anything consistent they can hold on. They bounce, dude. You see them bounce all over the place. You do not see that from me. Okay? I might be crazy as a loon, but you do not. I am consistently crazy as a loon. Promotion, when people are promoting, okay? Engagement farming is a monster red flag, guys. When you see people using terminology, this is why I don't go to most of these rooms. I refuse to support them in any way, dude. In any way. I'm not going to support this shit. Using tricks or campaigns, scams, and back to inconsistencies. That's all you got to look for. The inconsistencies are the red flag. I'm going to bring a few people up. I have a couple of rules. I've never done the people thing because I get a little worried about this. This is not, what is the word? Secular. Is that right, Mike? Secular. Look, I'm awesome if you believe in atheism, Allah, Jesus, anybody else. I don't want to talk about it. What I want to talk about is a church that has no kind of nomenclature, dogma, and I think we just open up a much bigger space and allow everyone to be here for what? Let's be responsible, transparent, and authentic. I think any Jesus, any Allah, any, the basis was responsibility, transparency, and authenticity. So if we can stick it to that, I'd love to know from you guys, Mike Max in the room, Milko Glossy, I don't know you, so I'll bring you up, Henry Thoreau, and then Stephen Malinek. Now, guys, I don't know some of you guys, so, I'm, let's see, one other gentleman down here. Oh, guys. Okay, if you guys could mute your phones, and we'll start with Mike, since I know Mike the best. If you could mute your thingies. And how's everybody doing today?
Good. Thanks for having us up.
Great. Yeah. Prometheus, let's start with Mike. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, brother. How you doing? Just coming into, I saw the stream link on there and just wanted to come in here and give a little bit of support. Listening to some of the things that you were saying earlier, I thought one of the keys that, you were talking about, if you're a bully or if you are bullied or things like that and how that kind of produces kind of who you are and things like that going on. I was thinking, I think it kind of produces a fork in the road, right? Where you either become that or you become the opposite of that. And you kind of get to make that choice. Like, you can choose what it is that you want to do. And just real quick, like 20 seconds, when I was a kid in second grade, I had the epiphany moment that you had in church, right? That it hits you in the chest, right? It's almost like you have an out of body experience. In second grade, my teacher tied me up because I was walking around. Like you, I talked a lot, walked around and did all this stuff. So my teacher ties me up in second grade in colored yarn at the back of the room. All the kids are up at the front of the room doing the spelling contest. And, they're laughing at me and I'm doing that kind of that gasping kind of, cause I'm crying, but I'm trying not to. And I'm like, I can't. But anyway, I was in the spelling contest. And so as each person kept getting eliminated, they kept looking back at me. And what was funny at one point, then they were starting to feel bad, but they kept looking back at me. And it came down to a friend of mine, one of my best friends I still actually talk to quite a bit today. He and I went back and forth. And I'm crying basically as I'm spelling these words out. And I wound up winning the spelling contest. The teacher walks back to me, holds me that little jack-o'-lantern thing. If you remember that, Gary, back in the 70s. We used to have these jack-o'-lanterns, and it was full of butterscotch. I love butterscotch. And she puts it right in front of my face. And I was about to take it for winning. And then she goes, is there anything you want to say to us? And I knew she wanted to say, I'm sorry. But that's when I had that Gary, that out-of-body experience where something went, and I was in the moment and I knew that I was going to do this. I knew that this was going to affect my life forever. And I knew what she said. And I looked at her and I said, and all the kids, I'm still gasping for air. And I said, I'm going to win every spelling contest for the rest of this year. And I looked at her with this force inside me. I knew what it would be. And I won every spelling contest for the rest of that year. And I became and I worked for radio, worked for television, I worked for the Rockets, and I had a calling to be a teacher. And I've been doing that now for 20 years. And so going back to your point, and this is where I just ended right here, either I can treat kids the way that I was treated, or I will make sure they will never be treated like that with me, And so I chose the latter. And I think that's kind of why God called me. It is a vocation. I think teaching is a vocation. Not everybody's meant to do it. Gary, you're a teacher. I think that if you would have gone to teaching, I think you'd have been a hell of a teacher, So anyway, that was just my little story. I kind of vibing with a lot of the things you were saying though today.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's interesting because one of the things I've been very critical of is teachers. And that's one of the things that's kind of led me to this. And when I'm communicating on these spaces, remember, I only came on this stuff a couple of years ago, max. I didn't like it. I mean, I knew Clubhouse, and I'm like, bro, there's no chance of me supporting this fucking roadshow. This thing is like, you guys are crazy. I would have bet $1,000 million it wouldn't have survived. It was so toxic. And quite frankly, that's one of the indicators, okay? When an arena is that toxic and you keep showing up to it, dude, there's something wrong with you. And the something wrong, I'm not being critical, but it may be because you grew up in a very chaotic family where there was just noise and anger all the time and belittling and criticism. This stuff, the reality, the Housewives of Beverly Hills, man. I mean, people laugh when I say this, but go look at how many people watch those shows. Okay, extremely toxic. And it really consumed a lot of Americans and probably non-Americans' time and energy, which says a lot about our society that if you're not aware of, you have to confront that there's an illness, right? There's this noise going on that you have to penetrate that noise and penetrating the noise isn't, hey, you're stupid. You can't do that. Right, you got to bring people in, and they become comfortable with new data. Henry, good to have you, buddy. How you doing? And welcome to the room.
Thanks, Gary. It's really good to see you, man. It's been a long time. And Mike, as always, man, I'll never forget when you first brought me up, Gary. It was like 7,000 people and Mike was there and you beat the hell out of me for XRP, man, my position. We killed it though. Not that you were wrong, because I think you're a smart man, but man, anyway, after that, I spent a lot of time listening to you. I don't join the conversations. I posted in the chat here. I don't like to. It's hard for me on X. I spend a lot of time alone. So like we do small groups, like people that follow me, and but it's hard. It really is. Like there's a lot of pressure when a lot of people like. I don't know how you guys do it, to be honest. Like I can't do it, and so I withdrew. Even though Gary had given me so much. I mean, so many followers came to me after Gary's show, and so some of them I became great friends with. We trade all over the world. Prometheus and I, we get together and from London to Laos to Canada, all because of Gary. And so I just want you to know that, Gary, like when I know we're in a world where money is how you attribute success. Right. And I do that, right? Like we have to do that to some degree. But when you're doing this, you gave me a voice. You gave me access to people that I wouldn't have. It's special. And so that's what you do. And, maybe you don't see it from that side because you're not us. But anyway, that's how I see it. I just wanted to show you my support and let you know how much I love when you come out and do these kind of confessionals. That's how I kind of see it. So thanks a lot, man.
I said I like the confessionals. It gives you a real look at humanity, right? And look, dude, I think people that are coming into these spaces doing this, you're going to see a lot of people not survive this. This is very, very different type of work. I think people that have come in here with a bad motive, they all get smoked out. You can't survive this type of scrutiny. It's just too heavy, especially if you're doing it regular. The inconsistencies will show up and you're going to get just obliterated. And then you're going to find out how many people have very little content. And that's not right or wrong. It's just like at 28, I had no content. I could not have done this. And so there's going to be people with content. And then there's going to be people that know how to interview content holders. And they're different people. And many of the people that have the content will not want to do this. Now, the reason I'm doing it is because I can stay in total control. And I've never done this church thing because I didn't want it to get churchy, I want it to be inclusive, not exclusive. I don't care if you make $3 or if you make 3 million, 15 minutes, baby. It's, hey, you have a soul. You are the soul. You're an entity. You're here for a reason. I don't think people are just showing up on these spaces by mistake. So why wouldn't we embrace that a little bit? The reason I'm bringing all this up, I think that the buyer has to be very wary of what they're doing and who they're listening to. This, to me, Trump would do very well just go, hey, dude, it's buyer beware time. Buyer beware, caveat emptor, just like when I was growing up. And what would be very helpful, of course, is that we get away from all these different rules. There should be one rule for anyone providing anything on the net, right? And if you charge for it, there's a rule. There's a refund rule. There's whatever rules. There's one set of documents. This is how we all operate. This is how we expect you to operate. I think we're going to get there. We just need more and more people showing up. And no one should be, I wouldn't put people in boxes. Like Henry, you say, hey, it's too much for me. There's no shame in that. It's just like, yeah, it's a different deal. Most certainly we need a lot of people though. Like we need the people that can do the space and then we need the content provider. We need both of those because we have a shortage of authentic human beings. Prometheus, what do you think, man?
Well, thanks for having me up first and foremost. And I love your church, Gary. I come often because I appreciate the wisdom, the candor, the fact that, you are honestly approaching a lot of these difficult to talk about subjects, and you're not afraid to speak your mind on it. It is so refreshing to hear. And so that's one of the reasons why I always come. And I think it's so good that, we, and by the way, good to see you, Mike and Henry and everybody else here. I love you guys as well. Just like, look, we're here. I think we can all sense that we're at a pivotal moment in just human history. Like, this is a pivotal moment. And to whatever degree of, wisdom and experience each one of us has, we need to bring it to the table in such a way that we actually prepare the next generation for what's coming. Because what's coming is so different. It's nothing like what we've ever experienced before. We're about to come into a world where, our kids, and Gary, your kids, like grandkids, they'll never know a world without robots. They'll never know a world without robots. What does that mean for like how it is we're growing up? What does that mean for what it means to be human? Like just now as I was listening to you guys, I was playing my beloved instrument, the shawra. This is, I'd love to play for you guys, but this is from my teacher, Ustad Shahadat Hussain Khan, who passed away during COVID. He was one of the victims, unfortunately, but he was a true master of this instrument. And, he played one of the most pivotal roles in my life. I saw him as nothing short of as a father, Gary. Like, he was one of the most amazing human beings you'd ever meet. Like, I'm telling you, you could talk to this man for hours, knowing both of you. Like, he had an incredible sense of humor, really down to the ground kind of man, but incredibly gifted in what he does, and also trained. And so his wisdom we lost because of this criminal genocidal event of COVID that happened, right? And so many other geniuses and brilliant people we lost, okay? Why? Because there wasn't enough good men at the time standing up and stopping this. RFK was just a lone voice calling out the pharmaceutical industries and whatnot. And so here we are, having woken up from all of this. And now I believe you doing these gatherings, these church gatherings, just keeping it authentic and real. We don't have to make this about religion, okay? We're all here looking for the truth, and we're all here to commune in the truth together. If this can be a church of truth, that's good enough for me. My beliefs about Jesus and whatnot, but like, I'm not here to preach any of that. I'm here for the truth. And so, if that is your purpose, Gary, which I see, kudos to you, good sir. And I'm here for it. I'm here to support you. And come your funeral, man, we are going to have a party. And I'm going to tell all the stories about how awesome Gary was, and how he brought so many good people together. That's what I'm looking forward to doing.
Can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
What a party. What a party. I need to probably create a budget for that party now that I invited 5,000 people to it. So it'll be a blast, dude. Make sure nobody cries. If somebody's crying, go slap them silly, okay? I mean, just give them a smacking. Okay, we've got a couple other gentlemen in here I don't know well. Let's see. We've got Stephen Malinak. Stephen, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and give us a couple minutes.
Hi, I guess I'm here to deal with my fear of fame. I'm from Ohio originally, lived in California for 30 years. I moved to New Hampshire recently, so I've been here living free and not dying. Great place to be. Out on my own at this point. I've worked for other people through my whole life, had some great experiences, learned a lot, found myself overseas during COVID. That was very difficult and ran into all sorts of issues and challenges that led me to come to new realizations. One of these things I came across, I think it was a book called Falling Upward, where you reach a point in your life where you're challenged and it's like, what am I going to do with the rest of my time? And I'm, this close to the financial freedom thing. We'll see how all that goes. But I've got a bunch of time left. What am I going to do with it? And I'm sitting around trying to figure that out. You know, I thought about teaching classes. I always wanted to be a teacher. I was going to go into that. I actually got to the point PhD was going to become a college professor, and didn't really like the way things were working in academia. Went off, worked as a consultant. Like I said, I had this great career, but I always wanted to come back to that teaching thing. So, you know, what's it going to be? What am I going to teach? I started posting on X a week ago. No one's paying any attention whatsoever. I figured at some point people are going to start to show up. Maybe this is the point. We'll see what comes of that. Kind of curious to hear what people are interested in. Thinking of putting together kind of a survey of stuff that I know, what's most interesting. You know, I talked to some people who are professors at universities, and I wanted to talk about, hey, what if we did a class on understanding financial freedom and responsibility and just kind of taking control of your own situation? And it's just like no interest. You know, it's like, how'd you like to teach our introductory statistics class? And I'm like, what? like, how does that connect? And I've been shopping this idea around. You know, I came from like the very low end of that middle class curve, and I moved to the other end of it. And I'd like to teach about that, but like, where do you teach that? Like, where does that happen? It's not in the schools. I mean, there's some books, there's people who've done pieces of it, and I've got my own unique view of how to put this together. But you know, where do you start? How do you get that out there? And at this point, well, I think I'm ready to dive in.
Well, welcome, Stephen. You've most certainly dove in at least to one pool. If you guys aren't following this guy, follow him. Let's see if we can support him. Now, Stephen, it'll be up to you to fuck it up. So these guys will follow you, but they will be expecting great consistency and honor from you. Look, I think appreciate you guys all being here. Appreciate the comments. And I don't want to go on too long. We've already been on a couple hours here. Mike, closing comments, because you and I are reasonably close friends here. You're muted out there, big boy.
Look at me. I was pulling a Gary. Yeah, no, I do. It's funny. You're spot on with the way that you assess the people on X, Gary. You really are. And I do consider you to be a good friend of mine. You know, I've had, you know, I think about people I went to high school with and stuff like that. I don't even know those people anymore. I'm looking at this point in my life, you know, I consider you to be a good friend of mine. And I think it's fascinating how X has brought people together. And I think we just get to know each other in a different way through little profile pictures, conversations. I think we really can get to know each other. So I enjoy it, brother. I love it. Every time you have these things, I think that the way you deliver and your style is unique. You know, I really do. And I get up on Sunday and I see you on there. I take you to the kitchen. I make some coffee. My wife's in there eating, and we just listen to it, man, on Sunday morning. So
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it is. It's cool.
That's cool. Thank you very much, bro. Let's see now. How do I get you off of the remove?
Just leave me on. It'll bring more viewers in. Dadgummit. See, now you blew it.
Yeah. Oh, look, I did it again. It's just, I can't stop it. Let's see. How do I do this? Solo layout. There it is. I have no one to share the stage with. I love this part. You know, I'll end with this part. You can't sit around and go, hey, listen, I don't want to be alone, but I like doing things my way. It does come with a cost. I would implore everyone to really think about, I saw a couple of comments from people and they said, hey, I've never prostituted myself. First off, that is awesome if you can claim that. Just today, though, it might be worth asking yourself, is there an area that you are shorting the rest of us because you're not willing to take some of that pressure we talked about, internal or external pressure to submit, to be gray. I don't like gray, dude. Most people that live in this area, I find them, they're not going to find me. See, that's the deal. I like these extremes. The problem is I end up with these extremes, the psychotic and the brilliant and good person. So especially when you have unique skills, you have to be careful of who you're attracting. But also I have a responsibility, and I'm going to hold everyone that has this desire or penchant or feel like they have a responsibility to be on video and take the power of this tool. If you come on here and, harm other people, or you look like you're going to harm other people, the way to look for those is, are they being responsible? Can you check their background out? Guys, if you are listening to someone and you cannot validate their background, you can most certainly validate my background. If you can't validate someone's background, I don't care what they tell you, and the more they tell you how great they are, you should be able to validate it. If you can't validate it, don't play with these people, okay? Like, if it's authentic and it's real, it should be validatable. It shouldn't be, hey, I went to Cornell, I'm an MBA at Pookie Mookie, and I have 37 exits, and I'm behaving like I can't, afford an Uber. I'm pretty much saying you might want to look a little deeper. So anyone you listen to, man, your boss, your wife, do they have the expertise to give you what you need? Like, I've never asked a wife in my life what my investment should be. I didn't marry women for investment advice. Right? Like, I didn't marry these people for investment advice. I married them for something else. I'm not going to ask them for investment advice. I may ask them for, hey, how to have a baby advice, because, like, I don't know anything about that. I kind of, show me how to do that part, and I'll come up to speed. So I need a lot of training in that area. Anyone following you or wanting something or telling you something, check their background out. Make sure you're listening to a real person. And when you find a North Star, make sure it gets as much light as possible, dude. Okay, give it energy. Don't, here's the North Star, you do this. Hide it. You don't want to hide it, dude. You want to support it, because there'll be 1,000 people trying to destroy that light. I believe we are entering the age of transparency. I said this 2 years ago, authenticity. I have a very good eye for noticing these gaps. I have a role for the rest of my life. If I choose to be very authentic, I don't think there are very few people that can deliver this. If that's the role I want to play, right? But it's literally like, if you think about it, wow, if you're 22 years old and you don't have a history yet, if no one is telling you to be massively authentic and massively yourself and massively different, most certainly not inside that gray band of 80% of the people, dude, you want to be different. You don't want to look like everyone else. Believe me. Okay, you do not want to look like everyone else. People will confuse you with other people that aren't as good as you or have as many capabilities as you. So I'm gonna encourage you to get out of line, get out of the queue, figure out. This is why we started with this. Is like, I should probably write a book. Just follow the bloody program we've been going through from the first Sunday, because if we started at I am, and guess where we are, dude? Responsibility, transparency, authenticity. And I keep telling you guys, I don't know why I'm doing this. The only reason I know why I'm doing this, I've missed spaces before. I never felt guilty. I didn't make an obligation to be on spaces. I made an obligation to be on Sunday. I felt guilty Why? Because people are now part of my club, and they're like, hey, man, he said he was going to be here Sunday. I have an obligation to show up or tell you that I can't make it. But I'm watching this and going, wow, dude, like we started with I am. So for you guys that missed that and you can't do this step, you tell me, I want you to grade yourself today. Like right now, takes 5 seconds. I'm going to grade myself as a 92 on a 100 scale of authenticity. I don't know why I picked that number, but I don't think it's 100. If it was 100, I wouldn't worry about how I look sometimes on these shows. If it wasn't 100, you know, I mean, ooh, man, I'm looking a little wrinkly, or whatever, right? I'm not going to share my age. There might be some 40-year-old woman that sees me that likes me, and then she hears about my age, she don't want to hang out with me. Look, this is who I am, dude. I am who I am. Okay, this is it. So if you're not 100% authentic, find out those areas that you're cheating other people and yourself. Write it down, and then let's go back to I am who. Who am I? To the gentleman, Stephen, who said he wanted to be a teacher. Bro, tell your school that you want to start a new class, and it's called I am. Be the most powerful class on planet Earth, okay? We should be starting with I am. I am, fill in the blank. I am, I don't care if you're 18. Tell you what, Stephen, whatever college you're at, tell them I'll come there. I normally charge $100,000. I'll come there for free. I'll do 30 minutes on I am, and half their students will leave fucking school. That would be awesome. All right, I saw one person say something about wrinkles. We earn our wrinkles, Gary. Oh, that's going to make me feel a lot better, man. Okay, guys, peace out. Love you lots. I'm going to lunch with my kids. They're probably like, dude, what are you doing? 2 hours. I'm making up. That's what I'm going to tell them. I made up for my, I didn't charge anything extra today, by the way. I didn't charge today. So, just kidding. All right, guys. Hey, listen, one last thing. Y'all know what you need to do. Who knows what to do? 6,210 people, minus 1, because I've already done my part. 14 now. Must. This is the cost of this church. Within 12 hours, in fact, within 11 hours and 13 minutes, by midnight, you need to go do something really, really, really nice for someone and take 0 credit for it. Can't write it down. If you can write it down, put it in a little box that you can't look into. You can't share it with anybody. You can't share it with your wife, your girlfriend, whoever. Preferably do something nice for somebody that's not so easy to do something nice for. Send some money to somebody, buy somebody a dinner. Dude, there's a lot of ways you can help people. Okay? Help another human being, take no credit for it. 6,240 people do that. There's 12,000 people been impacted at least. Okay, it's my understanding that every person massively impacts 7 people in their universe. So in fact, you're probably going to help 7 times your 1. That's 45,000 people will have a flow of cool energy. Okay, it's the harmonic, man. The harmonic, dude. We get a nice positive harmonic going. The evil, the lies, the lack of transparency, the inconsistency, the lack of responsibility, and the authenticity, they will be removed, and you will see the sprouts of a transparent world where we're supporting each other will blossom. I'll leave it with that. You guys have a great day. Repost this stream if anybody can be helpful. I will be here next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. on our regular schedule. You guys have a great day.
And you, Gary. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
video, I'm gonna teach you how to build AI agents, even if you're a complete beginner. The popularity of AI agents is absolutely exploding. It's clear that 2025 will be the year of AI agents. But just like with internet and Bitcoin, most people are going to miss out. So don't be one of them. Watch until the end and start building AI agents. Real quick, I'm hiring a developer to help me build Vectel. So if you have full stack experience and want to join the team, the link is going to be below the video. All right, so to get started with N8N, you have to go to n8n.io and click on get started for free. So once you log in, you'll see the dashboard. So just click on open, and in here, you'll see all of your workflows. So as you can see, I have one workflow here, but I'm going to click on create new workflow. Now you can do this even if you're never coded before, because N8N is a no-code tool, so you don't have to be a programmer at all. Seriously, anyone can do this. Okay, so the first step is choosing the trigger. This is perhaps the most important part of the automation because it determines what starts the automation. Now, when you click on this, you can see multiple different triggers we have. So it could be a manual trigger, on app event, on a schedule, for example, every day, every hour, on a webhook call. There is like so many things. Think of N8N as Make.com on steroids. In fact, here's how N8N growth compares to Make.com. As you can see, it's growing exponentially. And in the past week, it has been searched up 3 times more than Make.com. So now that you know how to set up N8N, let's start by creating a Telegram trigger, because I think that's one of the most popular triggers. And again, you can choose anything else, right? Like you can choose WhatsApp, you can choose Google Sheets, you can choose Slack message. Any automation you want to make, you can make it with N8N. Let's just choose Telegram, and we're going to do on message. Don't get overwhelmed by this UI. Once you understand, it's actually very simple. So on the left, it's what's coming in. Middle is setting up this current block. And on the right, we see what the data looks like after this block runs. So we need to connect our Telegram account. So if you've never done this, click on create new credential. And in here, we need the access token, right? Once you have your Telegram account created, the thing we have to do is chat with the bot father, right? So click on this and click on open Telegram. But the bot father is basically a way to interact and manage bots, right? So let's just follow the official tutorial from the N8N docs. Let's type in a new bot /new bot. Boom. All right, a new bot. How are you going to call it? So I'm going to call it Google AI agent. And you'll see why in a bit. Good. Now choose a username for this. So I'm going to name it New Society Google Bot. Boom, there it is. And now we have this link. If we click on that and click on start, we can chat with this new bot. But what we actually need is the access token right here. So copy that. Do not share this to anybody. Obviously, this is private. I'm going to change it before uploading the video. Once you copy this, let's go back into N8N and paste it in right here. Click on save. And now let's wait 1 second. We should see a pop-up connection tested successfully. Beautiful. We can go back. And by the way, anytime you do this, I recommend you click on save. That way you don't lose your progress. So now we have the Telegram trigger. And we can test it out, right? Let's go test step. It's listening for a test event. So if we switch back to Telegram, and I'm going to say hello world. Boom, there it is. So it correctly found our message, and you can see our text right here, hello world. So we have the trigger working. We can see that if we send a message to Telegram, N8N successfully recognizes that. So what is the next step? Well, actually, it is to set up a switch. That way we can use both text messages and voice messages. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to do switch. And then in here, we have to set up the values. So here we're going to have 2 different routes, one for text and one for voice. So I want to make sure our AI agent works with both. So first we're doing the text. I'm going to rename it to text. And we need to make sure that this value right here exists. So we need to do string and exists. If this exists, it's a text. And now I'm going to test the trigger again, but with a voice message so we can properly wire that up. So click on delete. This deletes the test. And now when we click on test workflow, it's waiting for us to create a test event in Telegram. So let's switch to Telegram. And I'm going to say, this is a test message 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, there it is. So now let's go into switch. And as you can see, this is different. We have the audio and we have the file ID. So let's create another route. This one is going to be named to voice. And we just need to make sure that the file ID equals to string exists. So if this exists, we know we have a voice message. If this exists, we know we have a text message. They cannot exist at the same time. So now our switch is currently outputting 2 different scenarios, a text scenario and a voice scenario. So in case of a text output, we actually want to use edit fields. And to set this up, I'm going to do a text output again. Okay, so let's do another test, click on test workflow. I'm gonna send hello there. And now we can actually work with this. So the reason why you wanna test it each time is that you wanna drag and drop stuff. You can copy paste the code from my video, but that's a very bad strategy. What's much better is if you wire it by dragging the actual field itself, because then you have it guaranteed to work. Okay, so we need to add a field. For the name, I'm just gonna do text. And for the value, I'm gonna drag in the text right here. Boom. That's good. Now, what if it's a voice, right? Well, we have to process it a bit. So if it's a voice, click on plus, click on Telegram, and we actually need to find the voice file. So click on get file, and in here, file get, and we need to get the file ID. Now again, as you can see, we have no data right here because we currently tested a text message, not a voice message. So let's delete our testing. By the way, when you click this delete, it just deletes the current, data in the test. It doesn't delete anything about the setup. So don't be afraid to do that. So let me delete this test. And now let's rerun it, but with a voice message again. Okay, so it doesn't let me run it with this field empty. So I'm just gonna put test in there. I don't know if that's enough. Seems to be enough. That's annoying. Anyways, let's test the voice message again. This is a test voice message. Hello world, David here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. And now, okay, so if we double click it, as you can see, now we see the data because it's no longer a text output, it's a voice output. So every time make sure you actually run the test so you work with the data. So anyways, we need the file ID in here. So let's delete this. Obviously, that's incorrect. Okay, so that's my bad. Make sure to connect the file ID, not just the ID. You have to drag in the file ID, okay? Beautiful. So let's try it again. Like actually rerun this, boom, and now it executed successfully. But when we find the file ID, we have to do something with the file. That's where OpenAI comes into place. So click on OpenAI and then click on transcribe a recording. First, we need to connect an OpenAI account. So if you didn't do this before, click on create new credential, and all you need is an API key. Now, if you've never worked with API keys, stop panicking. It's actually super simple. All you need to do is go to platform.openai.com, and on the left, click on API keys. In here, you can actually log in with the same account you use in ChatGPT. So this takes 20 seconds. Once you're in here, click on create new secret key. I'm gonna name it NA10 transcribe, create secret key. Again, do not share these with anybody. I will revoke my key before uploading this video. Treat them as passwords. Okay, so once you copy this, go back into here, paste it in here, click on save and wait 1 second for connection tested successfully. Beautiful. I don't think you actually need to do any changes in here. Anyways, let's test it out. Click on test step, executing node, boom. So this is the text. Thanks so much for listening, my friends. I'll see you. That's not what I said. Okay, maybe actually my setup was wrong in Telegram and it was using a wrong mic. Now it's using my proper mic. So let me try again. As you can see, the audio waveform was silent, so it didn't pick up the audio, so that's my bad. Let's click on OpenAI. Okay, David here, test. Beautiful. So now it's correctly transcribing because the audio is correct. Okay, so that's why you need to test at every step. Otherwise, you just can run into issues that later on will be much harder to debug. Okay, so we're successfully handling both text and voice. Now we're ready for the main part of NAN, connecting the AI agent. So let's click on plus in here, do AI agent. Boom. So this is by far the main module. And we actually want to connect both into the input. Okay, let's go back to Vectel. So we did set up the switch. Okay, one more thing. If you want this whole automation and you want to just copy paste it, you're like, oh my God, David, this is too complex. I don't have time to set this up. All of that will be in the new society. So inside of the new society, if you click on classroom and then templates and presets, you can get all of my automations, AI agents, code, prompts, and everything else that I've made in previous videos and also exclusively for new society. So specifically in pre-built automations, you can find this one, NA10 Google AI Agent. So you can literally just download this and paste it into your NA10 and you don't have to spend an hour building it. So if you want access to all of my automations, as well as tons of exclusive content, make sure to join the new society. It's going to be linked below. Okay, so next step is...
Great. The new GoDaddy Aero has AI marketing tools to help small businesses.
Adding our AI agent, and this is the best part about NAN. This is what makes it better than Zapier and Make.com. This AI agent is very powerful, and it's unfortunate because you can only appreciate it after you build your own AI startup, like I did with Vectel, and after you try giving an LLM different tools, memory, and stuff like that. Luckily, NAN makes this super easy compared to what it's like when you actually build it with code. So here's what we have. So we can use Azure OpenAI if you want OpenAI models with privacy. Anthropic, Mistral, Grok if you want super fast responses, Ollama if you want open source models, OpenAI obviously, and Google Gemini models. I'm going to use Anthropic because right now Sonnet, the new Sonnet is my favorite model, but be careful because by default, this is the old Sonnet. The new Sonnet is 1022. So make sure to select the new Sonnet. Now we have to connect our Anthropic account. Mine is already connected, but if you don't have it connected, click on create new credential. And as always, we need to paste in an API key. So you need to go to console.anthropic.com. Again, I'm going to link it below. That way it's easier for you to access. Then click on settings at the top, and on the left, click on API keys. Now again, if you don't have an account, you can use the same account you have on Claude. If you don't have Claude, no comment. Anyways, you can create an account in like 30 seconds, super easy. So once you log in, once you go to settings and API keys, click on create key. Workspace, I'm going to do default, and I'm going to name n8n AI agent. Add. And again, do not share this with anybody. I will delete my key before uploading this video. Okay, so the reason I say that is because always there's like a few people in the comments, oh my God, he showed his keys. Guys, I'm not an amateur. So once you paste this in and click on save, you'll see connection tested successfully. So now our AI agent is using the world's best AI model, at least currently. And when you click away, you can actually see it very nicely. You can see the chat model is using Anthropic chat model. And let's click on save. So now there's two more things we have to give it, right? Tools. This is what separates it from a simple chatbot, right? Where you're just chatting with the LLM. For an actual powerful AI agent, it's the tools. Tools and memory. But honestly, memory, that's an entire different video. How to create vector databases, how to like take thousands of words and hundreds of documents and put them into a vector database, and how to give them to your AI agents so that AI agents can have infinite memory. By the way, if you want me to make a video on that, connecting AI agents to a vector database, comment below. Anyways, what really makes AI agents powerful is the tools, right? So let's actually first skip this and let's set up the output. And the reason for that is I want to see if our AI agent is working. So for the output, we're going to use Telegram as well. Again, you can use anything else. Like you can use WhatsApp, you can use Gmail, you can use Slack, whatever else you want. Do not be an NPC and do not blindly follow what I'm doing. Instead, actually adapt it to your use case, to whatever you need to automate. Take this and modify it. So I'm going to go with Telegram again. Telegram, and I'm going to say, actually we need to do send a text message, okay? So make sure this is the same account you connected at the start. Message, send message, chat ID. And actually, before we set these two fields up, let's first run the AI agent. For that, we need to set in the system prompt. So underneath prompt source, we need to change that to define below. And let's drag in the OpenAI output in here, JSON.text, okay? Now underneath options, we can actually add a system message, which is the system prompt. So you are a helpful assistant. I'm gonna say, always respond in full caps. That's just for testing, right? So let's do test step. Okay, test step. It says it executed successfully, but it's not doing anything. Okay, so when stuff isn't working, sometimes it's best to delete the data and try again. So let's do test workflow. Which day is after Monday? Super simple question to test if this is working. So text, it's a text field, boom, beautiful. So now when I click on AI agent, we can see the output. Tuesday comes after Monday, blah, blah, blah. It's full caps, so it does see our system prompt, but the error is in the Telegram message, and that's because we didn't wire it up. So let's do it now. So for the text, we just need to drag in the output from the AI agent because we want the exact same text as the AI agent writes. And for the chat ID, we actually need to scroll down to the switch, find chat, and then the ID right here. Boom. And let's actually test this step. Boom. Let's go into Telegram. Do we see anything? Not yet. I'm going to run this again. Still didn't set anything. Okay, so let's delete it again. Test workflow. What is 4 plus 4? Right, let's see. Boom, there it is. So we got a first successful completion. Now, this is not done yet because we still need to connect the tools and actually make this powerful, right? So, okay, so now one thing I should probably explain, let's click on save first, is that we're in testing mode, meaning the workflow is inactive, right? If I were, like, once you're happy with it, we're gonna trigger this on and it's gonna be active always. But now, when you do a test, you need to delete it and do test workflow again. So that's why now I didn't get a response. And boom, June comes before July. So there it is. All right, so let's delete it again. Actually, we can keep it. But what we need to do is we need to add the tools for AI agent. So as you can see in Vectel, I have the steps. By the way, if you're someone who likes to be super productive, make sure to check out Vectel. This is a task management tool that actually saves you time. It has built-in AI agents that automatically sort your tasks and help you complete them. So for example, I can say, I've completed the AI agent task. And obviously, it's a simple request, but let's say you have too many tasks, you want to move half of them to tomorrow, or you want to reorganize them. Like for example, today I want to focus on business only. It will decrease the priority of personal tasks, increase the priority of business tasks. It can do a lot more, so go to Vectel.ai and try it yourself. All right, so the next step is adding tools to our AI agent, and this is really what makes the agent powerful. So the reason I name it Google Agent is because I'm going to add some Google features, right? First and foremost being Gmail. So let's click on Tools and click on Gmail. Let's start by giving it access to the inbox, right? And giving it access to all the unread messages. So for the operation, we need to change it from send to get many. That way you can get multiple emails. Limit you can leave on 50. I mean, it's gonna increase your token costs if you have a lot of unread emails. So maybe consider changing that to like 20. It's up to you. Leave simplify on. And actually at the top, the first thing you need to do is connect your Gmail. So again, if you don't have it connected, click on create new credential and click on sign in with Google. Here, choose the email account you want to sign in with. Once it says account connected, we're good. So once you have the account connected, scroll all the way down and we need to set up the filters. So label names or IDs. In here, we need to select inbox. So scroll down and click on inbox. And the second thing is unread. So right now, it can get your unread emails. Now, if you don't want just unread emails, you can obviously set it up to anything else. That's entirely up to you. But for this use case, I'm going to have emails that come into the inbox, meaning it's not going to be some promotional material. And then only unread emails are going to show up. So that's good. Let's exit out of this. So now the chat agent has the tool and it should be able to use it. Now, in terms of the prompt, we actually have to specify that a bit more. So in here, I'm going to change the system prompt to actually something more custom. And by the way, if you want access to that, again, it's in the new society, in the templates and presets, underneath prompts and instructions right here. If you scroll down, you'll find the NA10 AI agent system prompt. So again, if you want access to all of my system prompts, make sure to join the new society. All right, so once I've pasted this in, I'm going to save again. And now it has knowledge of the Gmail tool. That's the main thing in the prompt. We gave it knowledge of the tools it has and how to use them. So let's test out the execution. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to do Telegram. And actually, first we need to click on test workflow. And I'm going to do a text this time. It's good to alternate between voice message and text. I'm going to say, what is my latest unread email? Enter. And let's look at it. Okay, so we go into AI agent. Boom, it starts activating the tool, goes back into Anthropic model. Man, this is so beautiful to watch. And now we get a response. So actually, if we check this out, here's my email right now. From Google, no reply, security alert. Oh yeah, so it is this. Okay, I thought it would be this one, but I didn't realize we got a new email in the meantime. So yes, it correctly found this email. Okay, let's do one more test, but this with voice. So let's delete this. Let's start test workflow. Summarize all of my unread emails into a concise message. Okay, let's see. So we transcribe recording. Okay, boom, AI agent. Now it chose to do the tool. Now it goes back. Oh my God, this is so crazy. Guys, you have no idea how difficult this is to code if you want to do it in code. Setting this up in code will take you multiple hours. With NA10, it's like 5 minutes and you have the AI agent set up. It's so beautiful. I wish you guys, you can only appreciate how beautiful it is if you actually try building it with Anthropic API in Python. Man, anyways, we got the response and it summarized all 400 emails. So security alert, cognition AI, YouTube notification, and another security alert. And there it is. Actually, you know what? Let's mark this one as red to simplify it a bit. So now we should only have these 3, but as you can see, it accessed all of them. So that's one tool, okay? It can already do a lot more than ChatGPT, right? Like now, anytime I go into Telegram, whether it's on my phone or on the desktop app, I can just have it summarize my emails. But we're just getting started over here. The agent is about to get a lot more powerful. Okay, so one tool. We have the Gmail. Actually, we can probably rename this, no? I'm gonna say get many, rename. Okay, now the next tool I'm gonna give it is to send an email. So again, Gmail. And instead of, actually operation send. So in here, NA10 is actually telling us what to do. Use the expression from AI placeholder name for any data to be filled by the model. So let's copy that and let's paste it everywhere what the AI model should fill out. So to subject, email type, HTML or text. Let's do text, and let's put it everywhere, literally everywhere. And okay, so that looks interesting. Now I'm gonna also rename it from Gmail to Gmail send, and we have to update the system prompt of our AI agent, giving it information of this new tool. So I'm gonna say, you also have access to Gmail send tool, which allows you to write emails and send them to anyone. Okay, let's see if this is enough actually. I'm curious if that's enough. Let's click on save now that we've added a new tool, and I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna click on test workflow. For the email, since I need it to be exactly, I wanna do a test. I'm gonna do a text message. That way I know the email address is exactly correct. So I'm gonna say, send a friendly lunch invitation to david@davidandre.com. I think that could be enough. So let's do send. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna wait on my phone. I have it loaded up here. Send email, and we have an error. Okay, I see the error right here. Invalid something, invalid. Okay, boom. No, actually, let's see. I have it on my phone right here. Well, let's see what happened. Telegram. I apologize, but I'm experiencing technical difficulties. Gmail send off. It seems to be issue how the email parameters need to be formatted. Okay, so let's see what the error is exactly. Invalid email address. Okay, let's double click this. What is the issue? Placeholder name. To subject. All right, so maybe this is a good place to actually use the N8N assistant. So ask assistant, analyzing the error. Let's see. The error you encountered, blah, 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 is not resolving while email. To resolve the issue, ensure that the expression used in the to is previous node name, that item. Okay, so the issue here is actually quite fundamental. So pay attention. The mistake I made is that I put from AI placeholder name into all of them. And we have to change that. We have to give it a clear description, what should be in this, right? So in here, I'm gonna say to, I'm gonna give it a description. I'm gonna say raw email address of the recipient. And this is actually an instruction for the AI. So now it doesn't work because we have the incorrect parameters. On the next test run, this should work. So, okay, so we fixed the to, now we need to fix the subject in the same manner. So delete everything in the parentheses here. We just need to do what it did here, but we need to give it a description. Subject, this is gonna be a clear and concise subject line, okay? And then for the message.
With Asana, you can manage any kind of work, from project intake to campaign management to strategic planning or anything else your team works on. Asana works for you. Try for free today at asana.com.
Let's click on body. So actually, the AI already knew how to do this. We just didn't format it properly. Okay, so for the body, I'm gonna say the body of the email itself and end it with a quotation mark. Okay, so now if we click out and save, delete this test and let's test it again. Test workflow, switch on Telegram. I'm gonna copy the same exact email. Send a friendly large email to David and David Andre. Boom, Anthropic. It should choose to send the email right here. Boom, correct. Okay, let me check my phone. Okay, boom, there it is. New AI Society. Okay, so the body is, all right, so it did send the email. However, we have an issue. The subject is not parsed. So it sends the whole thing, right? All right. So we need to look into what happened here. Oh, I need to switch it to expression. That's my bad. Let's rerun this again. Save. Test workflow. Let's do a different one. Let's do send a party invite to my good friend David Andre at davidandre.com. Boom. Let's check the phone. Still writing. Oh, there it is. Party invitation. Now it's correct. Oh, guys, can you guys see this? This is beautiful. Party invitation, let's make it legendary. But man, now it wrote the email and formatted it correctly. So now let's give it more powers. Let's give it Google Calendar as well. Okay, so let's click on tool again, plus, do calendar, Google Calendar tool. And in here, let's start by having it read events. Okay, so if we go into Google Calendar, I don't have anything in here, but let's see. Let's maybe try, I'm gonna do like a dinner here. I'm gonna do dinner with my YouTube subscribers. If you wanna be invited to this non-existent event, make sure to subscribe. Okay, so let's save that. Now, if we give it the ability to read, so operation is gonna be able to get many, and then from list select calendar. Oh, okay, so as you can see, we did not add the credential. I made the same mistake. First time, we should always start by selecting the credential. So let's click on that, create a new credential, sign in with Google, account connected. And now inside of here, we should be able to select new AI Society. So this is my main calendar for this account. Maybe we can do like after and then select date and time. Could be like start of this month or whatever, something like that. Yeah, the expression should be like this. Let's see if that's good. You know, maybe you don't want to load super old events. Okay, so this looks correct. And I mean, the easiest way to test that is just to test that, right? So I'm going to delete this, and actually let's update our AI agent. We need to tell it that it also has the access to calendar. So let's put that here. You can also access the, what's it named? Google Calendar. We should probably rename it actually. Okay, Google Calendar get many. Calendar read. It's probably easier to name it calendar read tool than get many. So let's put it here. You can also access the calendar read tool, which lets you see all of the events on the user's Google Calendar. All right, so let's save that and let's test this workflow. I'm gonna say, do I have any calendar events for today? If so, what are they? Okay, let's see. So we're going AI agent. Hopefully it calls the calendar read. Oh, it did. Boom. Okay, that's green. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back in Telegram. Boom, there it is. Dinner with my YouTube subscribers from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Dubai time. Let's check that, and it's correct. So now it can access our calendar, which is amazing. But what's even better is if it can create events. So let's give it that right now. Calendar, Google Calendar tool, instead of, operation on create, beautiful. Select calendar, the main one. And then the start, okay, so this should be AI. Again, we have to make sure that this is filled with AI. And we have to do the same thing as we did before. So let's copy this, boom, and paste it in here. And we have to instruct it, right? So let's switch to expression and delete the stuff inside of the brackets, parentheses. And since this is the start date, we need to instruct it how to format it, right? So we're gonna do quote, start quote, comma, and then a clear description. This is basically description for the AI. So it should be date and time when the event should start, okay? And let's copy this expression and paste it into the end. Boom, and instead of start, obviously it's gonna be end. And when the event should end. Beautiful. And inside of additional fields, I'm gonna add summary. And in here, let's switch on expression as well. We need to do the title of the event. So title, change that to title. And the description, change it the title of the event. Calendar, create, okay, looks good. And again, let's click on save. And the best way to test it is to test it. So let's, okay, we tried speaking. I wanna say, create, actually, you know what? Let's do something else. Let's try to create an event in the past. So I'm gonna say, create a 15-minute event starting today at 5 p.m. Or maybe I could say, track the last 15 minutes in Google Calendar by adding a new event named recording for YouTube. Let's see if it can do this. Oh, actually, I didn't do test workflow, but whatever. Let's click that. All right, so successfully create event. Boom, there it is. Let's see the response. I've added the event. Let's click on Google Calendar, refresh. And it's not here. Why not? Oh, it might not have knowledge of today. Okay, wait. What do we name it? Recording for YouTube. Oh, it put it January 2024. Oh my God, okay. So that's crazy. January, whoa, it's last year. So the issue is that, okay, so the issue is actually in the AI agent. It doesn't really have knowledge of what the date is. So let's click on the AI agent. We have to update that. It should have it in the now. Why doesn't it know it? Maybe we should actually repeat this. Let's copy this. I'm gonna put it in here. Google Calendar. Actually, we didn't put in the calendar create. Okay, that's one bad. Let's put it in here. I'm gonna rename this to calendar create. Calendar create. Let's scroll down to the system prompt and let's update the knowledge of that. So yeah, I'm gonna say use the calendar create event to add any new events into the user's Google Calendar. Important, here is today's actual date. Then if we click on expression, we should see date time 2025. Okay, maybe we can put more after this. Make sure to set the start and end times accordingly. Okay? So save that and delete it, and let's try again. Test workflow. Create a new event in my calendar for the last 15 minutes saying that I'm uploading a video to my YouTube channel. Okay, let's see. Boom, please call the create event. Error. Okay, let's click on that. Bad request, please check your parameters. Double click. What is the issue? It says workflow successful, but it didn't succeed on the first try and it didn't succeed now. Oh, okay. So yeah, it tried to just do now. That's an issue. I should probably tell it. Yeah, okay. Wait, did it create the event or no? Okay, it's creating January 2020. Why? January 9, 2024. We are somehow not giving it today's date. Date and time. 2025, the year 2025 just started. So make sure you are deeply aware of today's due date. Now, do not use any other dates as today. This is the official date of today. Okay, so hopefully that is clear enough. We have to convince the assistant that it's 2025 because its knowledge cutoff is in the past. So let's save that and let's try again. Okay, so I'm gonna delete it. I'm gonna do it, actually, I'm gonna name it building in 8 and end. Okay, let's do that and let's do test workflow. Boom. Oh, actually, one more thing I should have specified. Yeah, okay, so now it might work. Wait, let's go back to today. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's very specific. 5/16 to 5/31. That's really good. Okay, that's really good. One more thing I should have done though is inside of the AI agent, I should have specified the format, because in here I need to specify this type format. Okay, so maybe actually we can use ChatGPT. Take this date and give me the general date and time format this is written in. Answer in short. And then I can specify that furthermore in the system prompt for, oh my God. I meant like, yeah, I can specify that in the system prompt so that it knows it exactly, okay? Actually, we can copy this message right here and include that in our AI agent. So let's pop that out. And in here, here is today's actual date. Make sure to set the start accordingly in this format, okay? I'm gonna paste this in. Delete this, it's redundant. Year, month, room, okay. Year, month, day, T, second time offset. Okay, maybe that actually is not needed, to be honest. Anyways, let's save, delete, and I'm gonna create a new event in my calendar for today from 6:30 p.m. lasting 45 minutes, and it should be reading. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Test the workflow. Okay, the AI agent chose the right tool. Okay, it basically always does that. And let's see. Okay, the tool executed successfully, so let's hope this is correct. Reading. Oh, this is not 45 minutes though. The end time is correct. Okay, maybe I confused it actually. Maybe the issue is in here. Start. Why is the start? Did I mess this up? Anyways, let's save that. Delete. Test workflow. Okay, event was created. Let's see. Oh, okay, there it is. It works. It works. Is it? Yes. It's beautiful. Beautiful. So yeah, that was my issue. I set up the calendar wrong, and that's why you need to do a ton of testing. See, the secret of building with N8N is testing at every step. You literally should test. Like, no matter any time you change, do a test. And it's the same in programming, to be honest, but yeah, like in here, it's super clear. You need to test every tool you add. You need to test any prompt change because you never know what happens, right? And especially the more complex your AI agents and automations become, the more testing you have to do. So now our AI agent is actually quite powerful. It can read all of our unread messages. It can send a response to them, for example. It can read the calendar, like get our events for today or for other days, and it can create calendar events. Now, again, if you want to add more tools, just click on the plus icon next to tool, and literally it's almost endless. Like they have so many things, right? So you can like do calculator, you can do Airtable, you can even call other N8N workflows. That's where it gets real crazy. You can literally have custom workflows for anything and then just add them as tools to your AI agent. You can do like, let's say, you want to add Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Sheets. Let's say SERP API is Google Search. So for example, if you use Claude, you can give it Google Search and suddenly you have Claude with Web Search, which is even more powerful than Claude AI. You can do anything, Slack, like, let's just look at the opportunities, right? Hacker News, Jira, Microsoft Outlook, MongoDB, even databases. Like, do they have Supabase? They even have Supabase. Oh, that's actually kind of crazy. Okay, I could actually integrate this into Vectel in some way. Now we're talking. As you can see, N8N is really the most advanced AI agent out there. Now, actually, let me show you what to do once you're ready. So once you're happy with it, it's like, okay, I'm finished building, I'm finished testing. Click on save, as always, and then flip it to active. Okay, so workflow activated, don't show again, got it. And now it's active, so we can actually delete this test, doesn't matter. And if we go into Telegram, it will work every time. So let me do it from my phone so you guys can see it truly works. Open up the Google AI agent right here. Quickly summarize what unread emails are in my inbox. Okay, so let's say you're busy, you don't have time, so like, let's see if there's anything important. Boom, there it is. You can see it on the screen. You can see it on the computer better, but this is the response. So it took like, what, 4 or 5 seconds, and we have the summary of the 3 unread emails we have in here. So that's just one automation, and that can save you hours per year, or even per month. Like, see, the beauty about these automations and AI agents, you build them once and they work forever. And if you are considering like, should I use Zapier, should I use Make.com, should I use N8N? The worst thing about N8N is the name. Other than that, it's great. Like the product is amazing. The AI agent is insanely powerful. And this is honestly the easiest way to build AI agents for yourself. You can do this with zero coding experience. As you can see, we didn't write any code in this video. And you can still build very powerful AI agents that you can use from WhatsApp, Telegram, Slack, Messenger, Google Sheets, Gmail, anywhere. Like you can integrate them anywhere. They have literally thousands of possible triggers inside of N8N. So really, the ball is in your corner. There's no more excuses. There is an amazing tool that doesn't require any coding, that's visual, that's easy to use, that's very powerful, that allows you to build AI agents. If you don't use this, if you don't build AI agents, and in 2 years like, oh my God, David, I'm behind, AI has changed the world, it's up to you. You now have all you need to know to start building AI agents, start automating your tasks. If you have, let's say you have a job, right? Show this to your manager, go as high as you can in the company leadership, go to the leadership levels and show this to them and say like, look, we can use this to automate. Just, let me do something, let me automate some part of our workflow. If it works, I would be happy to discuss a potential raise. Most leaders, most CEOs will be more than happy to do that. If you can automate something that's costing the company hundreds of human hours per month, with an automation that's predictable and does the job just as well, if not better, That's one of the best ways, fastest ways to get a raise. Of course, you can build these automations for clients. I mean, there's so many options. But where you should start is build them for yourself. So whatever you need, you can build it with n8n. And honestly, I think I'll make more videos on n8n. That being said, hopefully you found the video valuable. If you did, make sure to subscribe. And more importantly, go to Vector.ai. Currently, I'm hiring for a developer. And what that means for you, people who are using, my Vector customers, is that the tool is about to get a lot better. Even though now I've been adding features and improvements like every few days, now it's going to be basically every day. Once I have a full-time developer, man, Vector is going to become a real software, a real contender to Todoist and Notion very, very quickly. So if you want to be one of the first people using Vector, make sure to sign up now. And if you don't, then, well, you'll sign up in the future anyway, because the tool is only going to get better. With that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I wish you a wonderful, productive week. See ya.
I love Monday.com.
What's Monday.com?
You don't know Monday.com? This is Monday.com. It's a platform that helps us run our work, collaborate with other departments, understand our business, and reach our goals.
So, project management.
No, work management. Any type of work, any kind of business at every scale. Marketing, sales, ops, HR, retail, media, manufacturing, anything work related.
But setting up a new software takes forever.
Actually, it's so simple and intuitive, you can onboard an entire company in a blink of an eye.
You have an answer for everything, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So how do I get Monday.com?
Just go to Monday.com.
Oh, that makes sense.
Your small business has unlimited potential. Spectrum Business is built to connect you with that potential. Get fast internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and a mobile line, all for only $49.99 per month. That's Life Unlimited.
Agents are emerging as the latest battleground in enterprise AI.
We're gonna bring a level of automation capability that the world's never seen, and I love that you codified it as agents.
The second, which we've just reached now, is reasoners. The third is agents.
And we're not stopping there. And today we're introducing new agents.
And the project I've been staying up late every night working on for many moons this year is Agent.
So I think we're going to live in a world where there are going to be hundreds of millions and billions of different AI agents. Eventually, probably more AI agents than there are people in the world.
AI agents are here. The death of the smartphone has arrived. Hundreds of millions of jobs will soon disappear. The world as we know it is about to change forever, and most people have no idea what's about to hit them. But you're different. Because in the next 60 minutes, I'll show you exactly what AI agents really are, how they'll transform everything we know today, and most importantly, how to position yourself to thrive in this new world. This might be the most important video you ever watch. Consider this your survival guide to the greatest technological revolution in human history. Buckle up. The first step in surviving the next 10 years and beyond is understanding where we're going. So let me first paint a picture of the future we're headed towards. Flash forward to 2035. You're taking your dog for a walk along the beach, enjoying a slow Sunday morning. Midway through, you get a notification. It's a text from your partner. However, you don't get your phone out to read it. Instead, it pops up in the corner of your field of view in the sleek sunglasses that you're wearing. The text reads,
"Hey babe, Lucy knocked over a bottle of wine from last night. It's spilt all over the white carpet. Are you able to book in a carpet cleaner to come in next week? Make sure we don't get ripped off like last time."
And being the loving spouse you are, you of course say,
"No worries."
Getting this organized is no big deal for you, because you've got backup. As you're strolling along the beach with the swishing sound of small waves fading in and out, you say out loud,
"Hey, Amanda."
Instantly, a soothing female's voice plays through the speakers built into your sunglasses.
"Hey, how can I help?"
"I need to book in carpet cleaners for next week. I'm home on Thursday afternoon, so that's the best time. I need help getting a bottle's worth of red wine out of white carpet. Give me back some quotes, please. I want to get a good price."
"Sure thing. Give me a moment."
You reach into your pocket and grab your dog's favorite tennis ball and putting it into your handy-dandy ball thrower. You sling it far down the beach, sand flicking up behind the pup as it accelerates into the distance. By the time it returns, panting aggressively with a sandy, wet tennis ball gripped in its jaws, Amanda chimes back in.
"I've got 2 quotes back." I tried 5 places, but these are from the only ones that are available on Thursday afternoon. The first one is $120 and the other is $140. However, the more expensive one has a 4.5 star rating versus a 3.5 star for the cheaper one. Which would you like to go with?
The cheaper one.
Great. Let me get it booked in for you. I'll let you know if I need any further details.
You're now at the end of the beach, so you decide to head over to your favorite cafe, looking over the water. You tie up your dog outside and step into the warm cafe, making a beeline to the counter. While you wait in line, you see a notification pop up in your glasses.
Booking confirmed. Carpet cleaning Thursday 3 p.m.
And just like that, you've been able to organize carpet cleaning while on your Sunday walk, without lifting a finger. Now, this might sound like science fiction. A personal AI assistant that understands your needs and takes actions for you? Well, this exact thing is happening much faster than anyone expected. The core technology, from voice AI to automation tools, already exists. I've spent the last 2 years building and selling AI agents to businesses, and I've even built an entire SaaS platform for creating these kinds of AI agents. And from this experience with AI agents, the path from where we are now to this seemingly sci-fi future that I've just described has become crystal clear to me. Over the next decade, we'll witness a complete transformation in how you live, how you work, and how every business operates. In a world where everyone is so stressed about AI and automation, with mass layoffs dominating the news, understanding what is coming and the path that lies ahead for us is a superpower. And in this video, I'm going to give you that superpower. First, I'll explain AI agents, what they are, how they work, and why they're so revolutionary. Then I'll reveal the 4 phases of the evolution from where we are today to where we'll be in 10, 20, and 30 years from now, so you know what to expect from this technology. And finally, we'll break down the opportunities that lie ahead and how you can position yourself to win, whether you want to build the next Google or Facebook in this AI gold rush, or just ensure that you're lifted up by AI agents and not replaced by them. Understanding the AI agent revolution is so important because billions of people are going to be caught with their pants down, unprepared for this shift that's coming. But once you understand why this revolution is happening now, everything becomes so much clearer. Why AI agents are inevitable, why they'll kill smartphones, why every tech giant is racing to control them right now, and why they'll create the biggest wealth opportunity since the internet. It all comes down to a fundamental flaw in how humans use computers, a limitation that's been holding humanity back for decades. To understand why AI agents will change everything, we first need to ask what seems like a silly question, but what even is a computer? Sure, they have screens and circuit boards and we use them to browse the internet, but what do they actually do for us? I mean, since AI agents are just the latest and greatest software that computers run, understanding this question is key to understanding what the future holds for us. And nobody understood the value that computers offered humanity better than Steve Jobs.
I think one of the things that really separates us from the high primates is that we're tool builders. And I read a study that measured the efficiency of locomotion for various species on the planet. The condor used the least energy to move a kilometer. And humans came in with a rather unimpressive showing about a third of the way down the list. It was not too proud of a showing for the crown of creation. So that didn't look so good, but then somebody at Scientific American had the insight to test the efficiency of locomotion for a man on a bicycle. And a man on a bicycle, or a human on a bicycle, blew the condor away, completely off the top of the charts. And that's what a computer is to me. What a computer is to me is, it's the most remarkable tool that we've ever come up with. And it's the equivalent of a bicycle for our minds.
And of course, Steve is exactly right. Just as bicycles multiply our physical power, computers multiply our mental power. They can handle the tedious work so that we can focus on what matters. Think about a small business owner before computers. They'd have to spend hours manually tracking inventory, writing invoices, calculating their taxes, and now computers handle all of that automatically while they get to focus on actually growing their business. And so the value of computers is that all of this freed up time can get poured back into things that actually move humanity forward. The ripple effect of this productivity gain is everywhere that computers touch. You have doctors who can treat more patients because computers handle all their paperwork for them. You have scientists who can analyze vast data sets to make breakthroughs even faster than before. Engineers can simulate designs instead of building costly prototypes, and writers can reach millions of readers without ever needing a publisher. And so this is what computers really are. They are tools that automate the tedious tasks so humans get to focus on what really matters. But the irony is that while computers automate countless tasks for us, we still have to manually operate the computer itself. So every time you need to do something on a computer, you first need to plan the steps. So you need to, okay, how am I going to do this? I'm going to open the app, click the button, etc. Then you need to actually execute on those steps yourself. You need to click, type, swipe, drag, all of the steps you need to execute yourself manually. So while we've built these incredible automation machines, we're still operating and controlling them like some factory workers from the 1800s. And AI agents are about to change this forever. What we're about to witness is actually a continuation of a trend in computing that's been building for the past 70 years. All computers, from your smartphone to your laptop, are limited by one thing, and that's how fast we can tell them what to do. We can call this the input bandwidth of a computer, how much information we can feed into it through clicks, swipes, keystrokes, and gestures. Let's look at this trend throughout history. Starting off in the 1940s, the first computers used switches, and imagine you had to flip dozens of switches just to do some basic math on them. So you could manage maybe about 10 inputs per minute as your input bandwidth. In the 1960s, keyboards arrived. So you could now type commands directly into the computer, but you had to memorize them like some kind of secret language. And so the speed of input jumped up to maybe 40 per minute. And then in 1984, the Apple Macintosh brought us point and click and graphical user interfaces. And so with this keyboard and a mouse, we could finally hit, say, 200 inputs per minute. Then in 2007, the iPhone made computing portable. But despite having touchscreens, we're still stuck at around 200 inputs per minute. So for the past 15 minutes, we haven't gotten any faster at talking to our computers. We're still limited by our fingers. And even Elon Musk sees this as a painful limitation for humanity.
The rate at which we can type words into a phone or a computer, it's very slow. Our input is much better because with the data rate from vision is many thousands of times, maybe a million times better than the rate at which we can output.
Close your eyes and look somewhere else in the room aside from whatever device you're watching this on. Now open them and close them again. In that split second, your brain processed everything. Colors, shapes, distances, movement. Now if you tried describing what you just saw over a text, you'd be typing for minutes to capture what your brain has processed instantly. I'm in my living room, there's a great couch against the wall, there's a framed mountain picture above it, there's a wooden coffee table to the left. So we're essentially running a supercomputer, which is our brain.
My name is David Andre. And in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to build AI agents, even if you're a complete beginner. The popularity of AI agents is absolutely exploding. It's clear that 2025 will be the year of AI agents. But just like with internet and Bitcoin, most people are going to miss out. So don't be one of them. Watch until the end and start building AI agents. Real quick, I'm hiring a developer to help me build Vectel. So if you have full stack experience and want to join the team, the link is gonna be below the video. All right, so to get started with N8N, you have to go to n8n.io and click on Get Started for free. So once you log in, you'll see the dashboard. So just click on Open. And in here, you'll see all of your workflows. So as you can see, I have one workflow here, but I'm gonna click on Create New Workflow. Now you can do this even if you're never coded before, because N8N is a no-code tool. So you don't have to be out. So don't be one of them. It's what's coming in. Middle is setting up this current block. And on the right, we see what the data looks like after this block runs. So we need to connect our Telegram account. So if you've never done this, click on Create New Credential.
speakers a follow. We really appreciate it. I just want to shift gears and talk about what Grant's up to. Grant's been working on a pioneering project to combine Bitcoin with real estate. It's a super interesting concept to take a high volatility instrument, combine it with a low volatility instrument, and I have tremendous hopes that these types of products are going to act as an on-ramp for the institutional community, the high net worth community to come into Bitcoin. Grant Cardone, how you doing this morning?
I just landed in Las Vegas. I'm going to be here for the next 2 or 3 days for a
Oh,
real
maybe we can
estate
meet up,
conference.
bud.
Trying to. Oh, are you here?
I'm here, sir.
Are you in Vegas? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
Yes, sir.
cool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, look, Scott. You
So
know
yeah,
what you're talking about is the 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 product that we've created is just going to allow people to look at Bitcoin that maybe wouldn't. The real estate, most real estate investors don't. That haven't looked at Bitcoin yet probably don't because they're conservative in nature. They want cash flow. They like the tax write-offs of real estate. They're interested and curious with Bitcoin, but the volatility I think scares a lot of them away. So when we put this $80 million deal together with 15% of it Bitcoin and the other 85% real estate, a lot of people that had never embraced Bitcoin or considered it or were curious about it jumped in right away.
yeah, it's very interesting to combine a high Sharp rated asset with a low Sharp rated asset. What's so exciting to me is that we're going to be able to on ramp high net worth institutional investors into Bitcoin and give them a more stable approach, a longer term approach to holding Bitcoin by combining it with the real estate. Essentially, you're taking the best form of collateral in the world, which I believe to be Bitcoin, and combining it with real estate, which has been the best form of collateral in the world up to this point. So yeah, I'm super excited. I decided to jump onto the project and carve off a little piece and put it in because I really do believe that it's these types of pioneering projects that are going to lead to hyper Bitcoin adoption. And adoption, like this adoption curve, is accelerating. And my hat's off to Grant for taking the leap and putting together a project like this.
Yeah, and then
Hey, Grant, are you?
if when Donald Trump, yeah, go ahead,
No, I was just going to ask.
go ahead.
Are you seeing? What percentage of the investors in this Melbourne project have never owned Bitcoin before?
Well, probably 50 to 60% have never owned Bitcoin. About 40% have never invested with me in real estate and have never done Bitcoin. So not only is it, there's people that didn't do the real estate with kind of does 5 or 6% cash flow, and then you get maybe a 12 or 15% IRR, which is good, but you're locked up, you're illiquid, it's a long play. And then when I added the Bitcoin and you see the potential, you're adding exits, and that's today without even having mortgage products that will support, which I believe will come on, that will support long-term mortgage products that will support the combination of real estate that cash flows with the liquidity of Bitcoin and the volatility and the possibility of something that could over long periods of time. Because you have the real estate, you have that underneath part. So Bitcoin can go to whatever number, doesn't matter. I'm not losing my real estate. So I can wait it out. And so 40% of the people that came in have come in, hadn't done any, not with me, not with the real estate, not with the Bitcoin, nothing. So that's kind of interesting that the combination somehow solves some problem for them that was keeping them from doing business with me.
I love it. And the point should not be lost that Wall Street and traditional finance is a copycat industry. And if this, as this project proves successful, I suspect we're going to see more and more combinations of traditional finance assets with Bitcoin. It's just a huge positive for our space. And Grant should be, well, hats off to Grant for putting this together and introducing kind of a unique product that the market's going to have to look at. They can't ignore this, right? Like as this proves successful, and I suspect that Bitcoin is going to outperform the real estate by a wide margin. But as it
They have the
does
tape
so,
of the shooting,
percentage of
and they don't even
Bitcoin
go up
that
and you're talking
the
about this.
project holds
No,
to the percentage of real
we
estate
pardoned people that were treated unbelievably poorly. In the history of our country, there's never been anything take place like this. They're still looking for them, but they're not looking for the murderers, the people that are killing everybody. We are, though, and we're getting them out of the country. We just started that. We're getting them out of the country, and they're going to be gotten out of the country fast. They came in illegally from jails and from prisons. They killed many people. Some of them killed many people. About 50% of them killed more than one person. They were released into our country. That's what we're focused on, not the kind of nonsense you're talking about.
You've called for a ceasefire in Ukraine. If Vladimir Putin doesn't come to the table to negotiate with you, will you put additional sanctions on Russia?
Sounds likely.
And do you think that the war should be frozen currently along
The
with
war
other
should have never
battle lines?
started. If you had a competent president, which you didn't, the war wouldn't have happened. The war in Ukraine would have never happened if I were president. But that couldn't happen because the election was rigged. Yeah, go ahead.
President, there's been some debate within your orbit over whether or not to keep or eliminate H-1B visas. What's your position on that? Do you want to keep H-1Bs or do you want to get
Well,
rid of them?
I like both sides of the argument, but I also like very competent people coming into our country, even if that involves them training and helping other people that may not have the qualifications they do. But I don't want to stop. And I'm not just talking about engineers. I'm talking about people at all levels. We want competent people coming into our country. And HB1, I know the program very well. I use the program. Maitre d's, wine, experts, even waiters, high quality waiters. You got to get the best people. Now, then you go into people like Larry, and he needs engineers, and Masa needs, and this gentleman needs engineers like nobody's ever needed engineers, right? So we have to have the quality people coming in. Now, by doing that, we're expanding businesses, and that takes care of everybody. So I'm sort of on both sides of the argument, but what I really do feel is that we have to let really competent people, great people come into our country, and we do that through the H-1 program.
Impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico in an effort to force negotiations sooner on USMCA?
No, it's really not on USMCA. It has nothing to do with that. They've allowed, both of them, Canada very much so, they've allowed millions and millions of people to come into our country that shouldn't be here. They could have stopped them, and they didn't. And they've killed 300,000 people last year, my opinion, have been destroyed by drugs, by fentanyl. The fentanyl coming through Canada is massive. The fentanyl coming through Mexico is massive. And people are getting killed, and families are being destroyed. I mean, the son gets killed, and the family is a basket case for the rest of their lives. I mean, I've seen mothers that thought they'd heal. They never heal. They say it gets worse with time. It gets worse with time. They lose their boy, they lose their baby, they lose their young daughter to fentanyl poisoning. And I had that talk with President Xi the other day, too, of China. I said, we don't want that crap in our country. We got to stop it. I would have stopped it. I had a deal with him where he was going to give the maximum penalty, which in China is the death penalty for drug dealing. And he was all set. He was going to give the maximum penalty to fentanyl dealers. If they send to the United States, they were going to get the death penalty. And of course, Biden didn't pick that up. I had that deal all done. It was all wrapped up. We were going to have it done. And then the election went, let's put it nicely, didn't go the proper way. I'm trying to be nice about it. It was rigged. And we had an incompetent president elected, and he never followed up on that deal. But he should have followed up, because if they got the death penalty, they wouldn't be sending fentanyl to Mexico, Canada, and other places.
Tariffs on China and Mr. President, how much will the
We're
tariff?
thinking about that too. We're talking about a tariff of 10% on China based on the fact that they're sending fentanyl to Mexico and Canada.
How soon on those tariffs?
Probably February 1st is the date we're looking at. For Mexico and China, we're talking about approximately 25%.
Date on the Gaza ceasefire, and are you planning to travel to the Middle East soon?
We're thinking about going to the Middle East, not yet. We have a thing called the hostages are coming back going on right now, and they are coming back. Some of them have been very damaged. You look at the young lady with her hand practically blown off. You know how that happened, right? Did you know how that happened? When you find out, you're not going to be too happy because it was terrible. But the hostages are starting to come back. If I weren't here, they wouldn't be back ever. They would have never come back. They would have all died. If this were done a year earlier, if Biden would have done this deal a year and a half, 2 years ago, or frankly, it should have never happened. October 7th should have never happened. Nobody should be dead. But through weakness, they allowed it to happen, and then it was a disaster from them. But you go back just 6 months ago, many of these young people were living. Young people don't die like that. They're just dying. And young people aren't dying at 22 and 23 years old. They don't die. But now they're dying, and you wonder why they're dying. They're being killed, and they have been killed. But they say 6 months ago, you would have had 11 more living hostages. Think of that, 6 months ago. But Biden couldn't get it done, and it was only the imposition that I put on as a deadline that got it done. But it's a very sad situation. It should have never happened. I'll tell you, 2 things should have never happened. 3 things. Inflation should have never happened. It would have never happened except for what they did to energy and their crazy spending. And Ukraine would have never happened. Never. By the way, Russia never would have gone into Ukraine. I had a very strong understanding with Putin that it would have never, ever happened. He disrespected Biden. Very simple. He disrespects people. He's smart. He understands. He disrespected Biden. And also, the Middle East would have never happened because Iran was broke. They had no money. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. It would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. But it did happen. So this is the cards I've been given. And we're getting the hostages back. That would have never happened under Biden. They would have never come back. They were just dying not that slowly. They were dying or being killed. But that was what was happening.
Are you going to keep sending weapons to Ukraine, or are you going to turn off the tap soon?
Well, we're looking at that. We're talking to Zelensky. We're going to be talking with President Putin very soon. And we'll see how it all happens. We're going to look at it very soon. One thing I do feel, the European Union should be paying a lot more than they're paying because under Biden, I mean, we're in there for $200 billion more. Now, it affects them more than it affects us. We have an ocean in between, right? Little thing called an ocean. The European Union should equalize. We're in there for $200 billion more than the European Union. I mean, what are we, stupid? I guess the answer is yes, because they must think so. But the European Union takes advantage of us tremendously on trade. And they now take advantage of, and always have. If I didn't get involved years ago in my first term, one of the first things I noticed was that they're not paying enough. They're not paying, and a lot of those countries weren't even paying. The NATO countries, they weren't paying. Only 7 out of 28 were paying. We were one of them, and Poland was one, and they had a few of them that were paying, and some were paying very proudly. Usually, the closer to the borderline of Russia they were, the faster they paid, okay? The ones that were further away tended not to pay so fast. And one thing on that, I think they should lift their number not to 2%, but to 5%. NATO should be at 5%, not at 2%. 2% is ridiculous, yeah.
Did U.S. President Xi in your conversation?
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a very exciting announcement for parents everywhere. It's called Mint Kids, and it's a plan specifically designed for kids just getting their first phones.
It's a full-size plan for your mini-me.
Nothing like that.
Well, it's unlimited talk and text. 5 gigabytes of data for a perfectly sized plan, so I can't get into too much trouble, right, Big Ryan?
See, this is the kind of stuff that I don't want my kids seeing online.
Upsy?
No, get out.
Upsy?
You stop that.
Upsy.
Terrifying little creature.
Designed for authors and creators like you, Lulu's Order Import tool lets you place multiple book orders to different addresses in just a few simple steps. Whether you're taking pre-sales for a new book, running a crowdfunding campaign, or selling at an in-person event, Lulu's Order Import tool simplifies the process of fulfilling multiple orders for all of your books. Say goodbye to manual order placement and hello to efficiency with Lulu's Order Import tool.
Type letter, enjoy it, do a good job. Important, very important, how important the job is. But I think it was a nice letter. I think I should let people see it because it was a positive for him in writing it. I appreciated the letter.
Mr. President, were security concerns at all a factor when deciding to move your inauguration indoors?
No, not at all. No, not at all. It was just cold. Look, if we would have, I just went out to the helicopter, right, we said goodbye. That's a tradition. As long as before it used to be a stagecoach, and then helicopters came along. But that's been a tradition. You go out and you do that. And we stood there for 10 minutes, and I'll tell you what, people would not have been able to get through that day. That was cold. It was sort of interesting. Don't let the sun fool you. Tell me something. Sunny days can get very cold, can't they? Because that was so freezing yesterday. You couldn't have gotten through it. It would have been. And the answer is no, it wasn't secured. With that being said, I thought the Capitol, the Rotunda, was beautiful. 72 degrees, unbelievable sound. It's like being in an opera house. I could see people wanting to do it there rather than outside.
Why did they remove John Bolton's security clearance, sir?
Because I think that was enough time. We take a job. You take a job. You want to do a job. We're not going to have security on people for the rest of their lives. Why should we? I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them because he was a warmonger. He's the one that got us involved, along with Cheney and a couple of others, convinced Bush, which was a terrible decision, to blow up the Middle East. We blew up the Middle East and we left. We got nothing out of it except a lot of death. We killed a lot of people, and John Bolton was, one of those guys, a stupid guy. But no, you can't have that for life. You shouldn't expect it for life.
Will that take place here, and when and where will you meet with
I don't know. I mean, look, President Zelensky would like to have peace. He's told me that very strongly. He'd like to have peace, but it takes two to tango. We'll see what happens.
Will you meet with President Putin?
Anytime they want, I'll meet. I'd like to see that end. Millions of people are being killed, and they're being killed. It's a vicious situation, and they're now largely soldiers. A lot of people have been killed in the cities. They look like demolition sites. Buildings, massive buildings bombed and coming down. The thing with Ukraine is that many more people died than you're reporting. You're not reporting the real numbers, and I'm not blaming you for that. I'm blaming maybe our government for not wanting to release those numbers. Many more people died than what you know about. When those big buildings come down and they say 2 people were injured, no. Many people, thousands of people are being killed. But the real killing now is on the war front. It's a very flat land. And the only thing that stops a bullet is somebody's body. And you have young soldiers. So Russia's lost about 800,000 soldiers now. Ukraine's lost about 600 or 700,000. I think the numbers are low that they're giving out. But they've lost massive numbers of young soldiers. And that war should stop. It's very flat, it's beautiful farmland, and it's flat and really beautiful in a different kind of way, but they don't have any protection. The only thing that stops a bullet is a body, and those bodies are stopping a lot of bullets, and they're being decimated, both sides.
In your conversation with President Xi, what did you tell him in terms of when to expect tariffs, and what can he do to avoid it?
About which one? about tariffs. We didn't talk too much about tariffs, other than he knows where I stand. Look, I put large tariffs on China. I've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars. Until I was president, China never paid not 10 cents to the United States. With me, they paid hundreds of $600 billion or so, or more than that even, of tariffs. And if I didn't do that, you wouldn't have a steel mill open in the United States right now. You wouldn't have one steel mill open in the United States. So what I did is I saved the steel industry. I saved other industries too with other tariffs. Other countries are big abusers also. You know, it's not just China. China's an abuser, but the European Union is very, very bad to us. They treat us very, very badly. They don't take our cars. They don't take our cars at all. They don't take our farm products, essentially. They don't take very much. We have a $350 billion deficit with the European.
Are you using your home address for business, but know it's hurting your brand image? At iPostal One, we can help. Growing your business